Right, here we are. What should we call this? I called it an episode the other day. Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah, going back in.
This is amazing. Yeah, welcome everybody to Love and Lunch.
Here we are. So we've got 20 minutes. We've got a topic to discuss today, which is what, dating in times of COVID or something like that. We had a question last week. Was it Louisa?
Louisa, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a big question. And we're sort of looking at part 2 of that question. And yeah, it's been really fun so far, having a little chat about like, where do we actually get our nourishment right now? Or what does dating look like right now? And what's the opportunity here? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really interesting. I was thinking about this in meditation today. Probably, I think it kind of ties in really to do with like the dating and the nourishment, but really around, I think for me, this whole practice and is what COVID has invited myself to do is to really slow down. Because I actually found I was just going on like my nourishment was almost like fast food. You know, I felt really exhausted. And then I was just like, okay, now I need something like to now I need something that's going to like self-soothe me, you know. So it's very much a yo-yo approach.
It's like a quick fix, or like a I need to fill up. It's making me think of computer games, because you're like racing around like, do this, do that, and you're like, oh, my energy's low, I've got to get some more coins, cakes, whatever it is.
Coins and cakes, I love it.
That's my go-to.
No, interestingly, and I also feel like being in London, I'm always racing because I hate spending time like traveling. I hate spending time traveling. I'm just like, oh, I'm really wasting my time, and I have to fill this time with like listening to an audiobook and educating myself, and always in this space of doing. Like, I cannot make my journeys pleasurable. I always have to be somehow like on the go, and I feel like I'm getting my nourishment, but I actually haven't really got my nourishment to like the fullest extent. And I was thinking about this actually beforehand, about how much we, you know, as a society have been used to being in this place of like doing, and how being in this state of being has actually got to a whole different level. And I thought about this, an analogy about a creme brulee. Is it creme brulee? Where you hit the sugar and come into like this juicy, gooey like sensation of just being like, it just feels so fucking good when it's like,
Oh, that's so interesting. You know what I'm getting? I'm getting it like you're skating on thin ice and you're scared to fall through, and then you fall through, and then you crack the surface, and it's like, this is actually, if you just surrender to it, it's all rich, delicious. And if you think that's wrong, and if you sort of follow the line where society has told us on conscious and unconscious levels to feel wrong there, and to feel guilty, or to feel like we're failing, or like, for me it comes through as like, if I don't hold everything together and take action all the time, things are going to fall apart. Nothing's going to work. And it's like, I'm saying it in that voice, because that's the voice. It's like, do it now, come on, keep going. How's the world going to function if you don't make it function? And
I love this. And then another thing that came to my mind is when I went skiing years ago, I remember going on like the dry ski slopes, and when you fall on the dry ski slopes, it's actually like it's quite painful.
I bet.
I like these little spiky things that stick up, and I'm like, it didn't really feel like snow. But going in, I remember when I went to the mountains, and quite a few years ago now, maybe about 20 years ago, and I fell and just surrendered. It was just like, I just felt held. And there's something about surrendering and trusting and
Yeah.
loving. You know, I was thinking of these three words like trust, love, and surrender, and just being held in a space. And when we can create that for ourselves, what then starts to open up in connection to others?
Oh, yeah, so much. So there's something that I was thinking about. You're talking about being in London and being stuck in doing. I mean, one is just our general thing where we feel like our self-worth is attached to action.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is when I used to live in South America and I found myself describing London to people, like what it's like. And it's like, you can make money, yeah? And you can have access to pretty much whatever you want 24 hours a day. Because suddenly I was like, oh, I want cereal at 3 a.m. and there isn't any. There's no cereal and milk. Or I was like, I just want chicken and chips. Can I not get chicken and chips now?
Chicken and chips. Chicken and chips.
I was like, but I need it now. So there's this London entitlement where you're just like, bring the thing to my house, or I want to walk down the street and within 100 yards, 200 yards, I want to have the nice things. And what I found myself saying to people is you can have access to all of that stuff. You want a dance class, it's in London. You want a type of food, it's in London. You want to go to a meetup, it's in London. But the contract, the deal with the devil is you're going to give up all your time. All your time and energy is going to be taken. Because that's going to be, work and moving around. In return, you can have all the food. You'll be able to afford the takeaway from whatever country. So it's this trade-off where we give up a lot of all of our juicy time. You're left with a little bit.
I mean, it's basically consumption because we have access to it.
Yeah.
There's this thing of like, Tinder, for example.
Yeah.
You want a hookup, you can get one in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Or probably even quicker, actually. Anyway. But it's just like anything you want, you can have. But I think the beauty of like this time at the moment, and I have been dating myself, which has been like the hottest thing. So I love dating myself 101, because if I can date myself, then I'm open up to be in relation and to want to date other people. And so that's kind of like where I've actually been at the moment. And the languaging has really started to change and develop for me and evolve in that place around like, oh, yeah, there's many options, but if I can just sit with it a few minutes longer, do I want A or do I want B? Like, really, which one is it? Like, I could make a fast decision or a quick decision. And there's just something about sitting in that sensation where it can be deeply uncomfortable, like really, really uncomfortable.
Oh, that's really beautiful. Because it's this hunger, right? I was writing about this morning. Like, how can I say no to something if I'm so hungry? Like, yeah, I know. Like, it's often like that with the whatever. We go to McDonald's or something. We're like, yeah, I know there's better things. I know this isn't the best for me, but I'm starving hungry. Just gimme. This is so much better than nothing. This is fine, or this is great compared to nothing.
Give me a double Mac.
something. I had McDonald's the other day, and my face was like, yeah, we've done a thing, and my body was like, no, you have not. This is not. Body was like, that was not food. I am not nourished. I do not thank you. I enjoyed it. It was fun. So a different part of me got to feel nourished. I got some play, and I got permission, and I got to be imperfect. But yeah, it's that place where we go for things that we think are the real thing, or we don't aim higher because we're hungry, so we just want to take it quickly. It's here now. I want to take it. How can I say no? Yeah.
Oh my god, that's like a golden nugget right there.
It's all right, say more.
Yeah, about like we can elevate ourselves to have the thing, but it's about sitting in almost like this space of like not knowing. Are you willing to fully pursue yourself when you are feeling your hunger is out and you just want to grab, for example, that burger, and you're actually getting penetrated internally by that feeling of wanting and being able to sit in this space? And this is the whole thing about we can be bigger, bolder, more beautiful. And I know, and it's like, for me, it's like being willing to be in this space of like feeling so much my
A
capacity.
space of wanting, instead of
I
going straight to
know.
like, I need to have it now. I'm having this. I'm not having this with love so much. I'm having it with my business right now. But it
Mm.
is that thing of like, there's the thing that I'm working towards, and then can I not have it right now? And can I stay present? You know?
Mm.
Yeah.
This is super hot.
It's such a tease.
Fanny flutters.
And for me, it's like, how many times in life with different things that I want have I tried to shortcut it?
Mm.
Have I tried to like skip to the end because this is like that distance between what I want and where I am is torturous. It can feel impossible to bear. And so we choose not to hold the weight of that desire. How many times
Uh-huh.
have I done that and ended up with what I don't want, or nothing that I want, or just dropping the desire? And I have done this many, many times.
Yeah, it's like, are you willing to be fucked so hard by your desire? It's almost like you've been fucked by your desire. You want to fucking climax the shit out of it, and you're just riding the peak. You're riding the
Yeah.
wave, and
Yeah.
like, this feels fucking incredible. It's like desire and like this spiritual ecstasy that accumulates, like the energy, the life force from desire, from the feminine, from flow, from the creativity, that you can create the intimacy with yourself. And I'm going to bring it back to dating, and dating by holding and feeling and nurturing. You know, there's something about having the desire and allowing it to fully ripen
But
until
you know,
it's
there's one more thing.
like baby.
I'm talking over you. I'm sorry,
I
my
know.
darling.
It's okay.
It's the desire. There's just one more piece, because I know we want to take it back and make it really real on the dating side. And I love what we've been talking about you dating yourself. Just the one other relevant piece, which with this brilliant metaphor for like orgasm and staying present in the high sensation, is in that high sensation, if you're not feeling turned on, then it's unbearable. It's like it is torturous, and it's hugely irritating. So it's like, if you can, for me, again, I'm saying all this from my, the business side. It's like, you've got to stay turned on. If I can remember my joy there, and remember my excitement and my enthusiasm for that desire that is pulling me, then it gets to stay feeling juicy and delicious, and I don't forget that I'm kind of loving it. I don't forget. If I can remember, we said last time, like, you've had a desire, like, celebrate it. Just sit there for a minute. If you can do that, that's when it's all juicy and delicious. And if it's feeling really, really painful and unpleasant, yeah, you might not. I don't know. It's when you sort of feel like you can't sit with your desire. It can feel that way, and there's a way to get into it and have fun with it, and remember that it's fun. But let's bring it back to dating.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for such that deliciousness. Feels like I don't know why I keep on thinking about sweets at the moment, sweets and desire, but the thing that came to my mind, and puddings, is like maybe because like food and eroticism, and it just really turns me on. I just have to say that.
You've got nourishment and consumption in there as well.
Of course, but it just
Yeah,
reminds me of like having a bonbon in your mouth. Did you ever used
yeah.
to buy those as a child? Where you've got
They
like,
happened to me. I wasn't allowed so many sweeties, but I
okay.
definitely acquired them on occasion.
Yeah, it just reminds me of like a bonbon that's in my mouth.
Say more?
What you were just speaking about, the desire and just enjoying it. And there's something about
Yes.
several layers to enjoying a sweet. It's not
Mm.
just the sweet, it's the layers. Can you take time to sit there and enjoy the fluffy, the strawberryness, and then you go into like the chewy toffiness? I'm like, does it even get any better? You know? But
That's pretty
yeah.
cool.
Oh my
Because you
God, I
don't
got
pop
like
it like a pill.
pop it like a pill. Yeah.
Yeah, you can put it in your mouth and you can just hold it there. I get that with fruit gums. What are they
Uh-huh.
called? Fruit pastils. And
Uh-huh.
you're just
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah, that has several layers to it. That's definitely a desire sweet. Um, but yeah, okay, great. We've got a question from Louisa, who's
cool.
saying hi from Brussels. So hello to you, Louisa. Um, so she says, we've got a couple of minutes just to let you all know. So if you are not turned on in the moment, are you projecting yourself into the situation?
Ooh. Oh, I mean, the first thing that comes up for me is if you're not turned on in the moment, are you in the moment? What's happening? What's coming up? And is it relevant? Is it about this or is it about something else? There's no shame there either.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no
And I
shame there. But if you're not enjoying what's happening to you? Where are you in that moment? And are you in the past or the
Yeah, and I
future?
often feel if we're not turned on and we really feel like we want to be turned on, or we have this thing that we want to
Right?
get excited about, that
Yeah.
it's like we're forcing something, and then it's like, well, why are we forcing? Are we in scarcity? Are we in
Yeah.
fear? Is it coming from a place of fear? So it's
Yeah.
something to just sit with.
You can play with it there as well, because there's a judgment, right? I should be turned on, or I must be turned on to get
X.
something. So
Uh-huh.
you can play with just not doing that. Is it
Mm-hmm.
wrong? Is it really wrong to not be turned on? It's okay. Maybe it's just a no. It really sounds like a place where she's a no or a partial no, right? There's some resistance there for
Mm-hmm.
some reason, and she feels like she's supposed to be a yes.
I love that. It feels like maybe there's a boundary that you may cross a boundary, or like, yeah, I think it's just really feeling in your body, my yes or a no, and leave it as something, yeah, more simple. But I know that yeses and nos aren't sometimes simple. But you can be
Well,
turned on about a no. I guess you can be turned on
yeah.
when
Oh,
you're in
hell
your
yeah.
when you're in your rightness about yeses and nos. I can be fully fucking turned on about my no, you know,
Yeah.
really fucking turned on. And I mean, that question in itself has a lot of layers deeper. It can go several layers deeper. And because we don't know the full thing of it, I think it's a time just to kind of sit with yourself in that place. If you're not turned on, there's actually no shame about feeling turned on, is the first thing.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, can you actually just give yourself some love and compassion? And I'd ask yourself what you need in that time.
Yeah. That's a place for curiosity. Because it's like
Definitely.
you're talking to yourself, your inner you or your body or something has gone, hey, there's something here.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be like, oh, I want to get turned on. You'd be like, oh, there's a piece of me that's asking for my attention. So you can get curious and
Mhm.
say, oh, hey, what's that? And if you don't know what it is, you can just say, I hear you. Yep. Thank you for that. I'll pay
Yeah.
attention. I'm listening.
And it may be something else. it may be something else. And it's like, oh, can I be willing to just let what I thought it was and get willing to be curious and being like, there's not a lot of sensation around that. Like going back to the shoulds, I would get curious about, sitting with it, feeling sensation, and just starting to see what you need in that space.
Yeah, there's a thing there about how can I, what would I need for this to be a yes?
Yeah.
And there's also instead of going, how can I be turned on by this? Which is a bit of a spooky question. It suggests that it's for someone else, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's like, you could ask, what am I turned on by?
Yeah.
What would turn me on? What would feel good?
Yeah,
listen, we've gone over time and I don't care, because I want to hear more about what you were talking about. You were talking about dating yourself.
Yeah, we have gone
COVID.
over time. I'd like to just, for 20
give
minutes.
It 2 minutes.
Pardon? Yeah.
Shall we give it 2 minutes?
Okay, cool. So, what was the question?
For me, it's just yesterday you mentioned this dating yourself. You've been dating yourself, and I just love the way you said it. You were like, because if you're not willing to date yourself, something like that, like, why would anyone else date you? So, and it's, it's a harsh question.
It's a bit of a harsh question, but I was just beautiful. Like, this woman's got to get real, like, I need to get real in this place. Like, I think what this time, like over the past few months, while I've taken a step away from dating, is actually being willing to look at all of myself, look at myself in the shadow, look at myself in the down, get really, I love your pen and paper, darling. Being willing to just look basically at some it's almost like having a colonoscopy, right? Am I willing to clear all of this and look at all of the fucking shit that has been spiritually constipating me for like several years, really? And can I just look at that and give it so much love, attention, approval, permission, and see what's there? So I can come to a place where, who am I is a question I ask myself every day. But I have more of a sense and more of a knowing from actually being with myself in that place. And for me, that level of intimacy has been profound.
Yeah.
It is literally for me, it's taken intimacy to the next level, because I'm getting to know myself. So when I'm around my friends, my family, I am showing up. I am being in connection with them. Like I feel like a different person, and it's too long to have a session on this today. But I think there's just something around that about my vibration and my frequency has begun to change, and so has everything else around me. It's almost like when you put those like magic glasses on, and I don't know if you've been, I was in Glastonbury at a bit of a rave, and you have these like tilted glasses on, and basically it's like you're having like an acid trip. But it's like an intimacy trip. So I've got these glasses on, I'm having an intimacy trip, because I'm literally tripping off myself, because I'm like, there's this thing that I'm learning every day about myself, and it's just really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. And
getting comfortable.
Really comfortable.
Yeah. And it's, for me, it's like once you get comfy with you, for me it means that I can say a lot more just of what's real, and then there's so much intimacy that comes from saying what's real. There's something that I wrote down earlier, which is a question that I want to sort of offer people. I might offer a couple of different versions. It's just, people are talking about how this situation has changed their relationship or changed their relationships. The question I wrote down earlier is, how has lockdown changed your relationship to your relationship.
Can you say that again?
Yeah. How has lockdown? So just notice, this is one for people to ponder, how has lockdown changed your relationship to relating, your relationship to relationships? So we can look at how this has denied us the opportunity to do whatever we were doing before.
Yeah.
And it has forced us, or provided an opportunity to actually see a lot of the stuff that we don't want to look at directly. And it's like, that's where all our nourishment lies, in that work, if you want to do it. Huge opportunity.
Huge. Fantastic.
All right, there's like 50 topics here, so we have to stop.
I know, I think it's peaked,
Yeah.
and I have a few suggestions for Louisa, in regards to like dating. Like there's something that was turning me on, and I was thinking about this. And I guess the thing is about like, how do you get physical intimacy through a computer? So if someone is living in another country, how do you get physical intimacy? And
do that webinar.
And one practice that I'd like to offer, and it's almost like a form of meditation, that if your partner, so is on the other screen, so for example, Joanna, I'm going to pick you. You are my partner. And if I was starting to close my eyes and you would say, I put my hand anywhere that felt comfortable. So it could be on my genitals, it could be on my breasts, it could be on my on my shoulders, chest area. And then I would just feel, and this is really beautiful, and I have this practice by myself as well, but it's a deeply beautiful healing practice, is then to be guided by the other person, and it could be like pressure and touch. And so if you just like guide, I'm going to just put my fingers here. And so we're just going to try this now.
And then I would give you instructions.
You're going to give me instructions. Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh, this is an amazing communication practice. Move your fingers up to your collarbone slowly, and lay the tips of all your fingers, the pads of all your fingers flat on your collarbone. And now move your hands out towards your shoulders and apply a little more pressure slowly as you go. And then bring your elbows up. Ooh.
This is really fucking hot. Okay, cool. I'm gonna stop there.
That much.
I know. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I'm getting really turned on.
I'm so hot.
Fuck me too. And this is like a practice in real life. So for me, as soon as you started to give me instructions, I could feel a lot of heat in my pussy. And as I started to draw my fingers up, I could feel this surge of heat going from like my solar plexus up towards my chest. And I mean, that was a few seconds. And I mean,
that's really
a lot.
quite intense. And it's quite fun as well. It's quite playful to put your attention. I got to put my attention fully on you, and then to imagine what you'd feel, and then to think what would feel good for me, and then to think how to say it, which is an amazing practice.
Oh gosh.
Right. Madam.
Okay, beautiful. It was so lovely. So we have been a classic 10 minutes over.
Oh yeah.
But perfect. I have fully enjoyed myself here.
Fully.
Ding, 100%. So yeah, I think we will finish this.
Awesome.
Now.
Anyone has any questions? Ping them to me, ping them to Joe. And we'll see you at 1 p.m. BST next Tuesday.
Yeah, I wonder when we go to GMT.
Oh, I think that's end of October.
End of October. Okay, so
Yep.
still in British summertime. Okay,
Yep.
fabulous. All right then, lovelies. Everybody who's watched today, thank you so much for coming to Love and Lunch. We love you so much and sending you so much love for the week. Okay, bye.
Have an amazing week.